You might sense just a lifting of the atmosphere inside the Robina Stadium because the host nation next to come out in the final women's match of the day. And the favourites, perhaps still the slender favourites, Australia, despite the efforts of New Zealand yesterday. And it is Australia against Fiji. Australia, who have been so impressive in the World 7 Series this year. And they will surely, as we've been saying, contest the gold medal against New Zealand. I have to say that the Black Ferns looked very impressive. New Zealand very strong yesterday. Fiji, not quite the same strength as their men's side, but still a force in the women's game. English referee, Sarah Cox. But always a buzz when Australia come to the field. Charlotte Caslick, one of the many stars of this Australian side.
Ready?
So the final match in Pool B, the final match of the pool stages of the women's sevens, and Australia against Fiji underway. Australia will be a hard side to beat in this tournament. A little knock-on from Fiji, immediately met, well, even the slightest knock-on by Australia's opponents is met by a roar from the crowd.
Time off.
Actually, we're close to capacity here, 27,000, just over that this stadium holds. And I think whenever Australia play, we're going to see a pretty fulsome crowd in here.
Yeah, and rightly so. This team are running out of shelf space for the amount of awards they're accruing in Australia. Real heroines and how they won that gold medal, but since then have become poster girls, and rightly so, taking up column in Shiz magazine front covers, the lot. Everything about this Australian team is impressive, and they've started this tournament the home crowd favourites, and deservedly so.
And if we're honest, there are two levels within the women's tournament. There are Australia and New Zealand, and then there are the rest. You come down perhaps, in fact, perhaps there are three, because England and Canada perhaps are at that second level, and then the rest a good bit below. But Australia, watch the skills and the handling that Australia have. Tonegato romping through. The Fijian defence slips away, but again, the pace and skill that Australia have throughout this side. We're talking about stars. I mean, there's stars across the side. There's no one standout. Tonegato, though, has been scoring tries at will in this tournament. In she goes for Australia's first in this game.
Yeah, and this is what she's about. Stays at centre, but she's got the pace of a winger. Bounces on a lovely outside line. She's background of Rugby League, so well-versed with ball in hand, high amounts of time with the ball in play. And Quirk shifts it across the her, and it's as easy as that. Squares at the defender. Lovely bit of running. I mean, this Fijian defence are brutal. Tinai, one of the bigger hitters, she gets ran around. That's how impressive this Australian team are with the ball in hand. And as you say, they really do set this crowd alight.
And if we're going to analyse it, which we'll probably have time to in this game, as Australia will move away with it, the reasoning is pretty simple. There is funding, there is investment in the women's game in Australia. The restarts, they don't go for the hanging restarts. Sometimes they go for just distance and then try and use that aggressive defence to turn over the ball. But carried in for Fiji by Mangasao, and then by Siata, and there we are, penalty comes, so Australia will have that ball anyway.
Yeah, Shannon Parry there, a real workhorse to this team, good playmaker, good link player, but good over the ball as well.
Charlotte Caslick shifts it out, sees the space out there once more for Tonegato, looks for the return, but it goes only to Fiji, and now it's Naimbasali, and Naimbasali out in the open, so the crowd silence for a moment. Can she win the race? Heading wisely to the corner, and the covering defence cannot quite get there as Naimbasali stretches and scores. It was Emma Sykes who was closing in with every yard of the pitch. But Naimbasali eventually got there. She was wading through treacle towards the end, and the try line couldn't come quickly enough, but a great try for Fiji and for Naimbasali.
It's amazing how thick that grass gets in the 422, but she's going running, manages to get the ball shifted into that other hand, and comes in for the fend. Sykes agonisingly close. What character she shows to get back and try and make that tackle, but momentum counts for a lot, sliding over the line. Called her out as being one of the best defenders in this team now, Vasily, but she's pretty happy to score that one. Gold in her teeth and gold against this team here, crowd favourites.
Well, 5 points apiece.
Time up. Holly, could you just grab a ball, please?
Bertie Ahern, the former Irish Prime Minister, is in.
So we got ball coming from...
Just to run through a couple of results from earlier in the day, overnight UK time.
Time on.
In the women's sevens, they've been squeezing them in between the men's, and New Zealand beat Canada 24-7. That was really the decider in Pool A. So New Zealand top of Pool A. And Kenya were narrow winners over South Africa in Pool A. So New Zealand and Canada going through from that pool. And here it will be, should be Australia and England, because England beat Fiji. And again, if points are equal, it comes down to the match between the two sides, and England with that victory over Fiji. That was really the crucial game for England. And Fiji showing it was a very close game between England and Fiji showing just why here, because they're giving Australia a good test, more than that at the moment.
Yeah, no, the shots we wanted to see from the Fijians. Nagasau there flying in from out wide. Watch your ribs when Fiji are playing. They put some shoulders in them.
Kaslik gets it away well. And there is the hit coming in, and Tonegato, good thump from Ravisa. But still, with Australia. And with one of their co-captains, Shannon Parry. Shani Williams, the other captain, is off. But Fiji turn it over, opportunity. Basketball pass over the top, doesn't quite work. Emma Sykes was there and had to be. Penalty to Australia.
You must clearly release first. Oh, sorry.
Referee running into Shannon Parry, and here goes Charlotte Kaslik. Kaslik weaving and sliding across the turf. Dutoy in there to try and secure it, and it's picked up by Parry, the captain. Penalty to Fiji, though. Was it not 10?
10.
And that's the reason. So penalty further up the pitch now for Fiji. Just looking a little bit tired, Fiji in attack though, and Australia with a strength. Tonegato strips it and feeds it on to Cassie Staples. Staples now tries to go around the outside of Ravisa. Realises she doesn't go out of the pace, comes back in field and shifted on to Tonegato one more time. Wrestled to the ground by Rogitha, the Fijian captain. Kaslik one more time. That floated pass, and poor old Shannon Parry was on a collision course with Nambasali, and a little knock-on gives Fiji the scrum.
Well, she scored in the first half, and this is what she's about. Puts the right shoulder in.
Yep.
Well rowed by Parry. That was a big shot. Managed to keep it alive, but gave the ball back to Fiji. We've seen a little bit for the first time this Australian team rattled, perhaps. We said about the differentiator between Australia and New Zealand being the physicality of the All Black Ferns, and when you do rattle the Australians physically, it brings in errors.
Bind. Set.
So the feed from Anna Rogitha, the Fijian skipper. And can Fiji finish this first half with a try to take the lead? Ravisa, no way around the outside, sets it back well. Charlotte Kaslik competing for the ball on the floor, but still with Fiji. Try a more direct approach. Siata crashing on into the final 30 seconds. Penalty secured by Australia. Kaslik trying to free that ball, and they might get marched back here. Nope. Australia, though, looking to take the lead. Huge hit comes in, and the crowd oohs and ahs, and Kaslik has it once more. Shifts it out. Opportunity now for Australia. Dom Dutoy gives it out wide, and then the spill. And Rogitha falls upon it just as the clock goes dead. But the scrum was awarded before the hooter, so they'll take it. And it might be a final opportunity for Fiji.
Well, no surprise with the exertions that Tonegato's had this half, that her Slight bit of core foundation of skills, not quite there. You can see wonderful pass. You've got to meet the ball with your hands out. She goes for almost like a slip catch, and it's something as simple as that. Rather than meeting the ball with your thumbs on the inside, it can lead to a knock-on. And that's how fine these margins are. I do believe the Australians by far superior fitness in this, as we see some pretty embarrassing flossing.
I do know what flossing is.
It's dad dancing.
Like, that was dad flossing.
Yep. Okay.
That's awful.
Marcus, yeah.
Anyway, so Fiji have made a couple of changes. And you talk about that fitness. You could see just in that last passage of play that they've been working so hard in defence, Fiji, and they won't be quite as fit as the Australian side. Elia Green waiting in the wings for Australia. See, one of many, many very impressive players. And actually, that's a statement. The crowd didn't like that. They like, I mean, Fiji, I think perhaps realizing that they were labouring a little bit. Out it goes, but they had the ball. They had a chance to take the lead at half-time. But as it stands, it's Australia 5, Fiji 5 at the break.
Hold the ball, leg drive, okay, ball present, and then we go. You get 3 phases, they won't go. So enjoy this moment, okay, close your attack.
Okay. Okay. You ready to go? No, that's all right. Ready? Okay.
Second half underway. What a half in prospect as well. Very interesting to see how Fiji's fitness copes with that of Australia's, but 5 points apiece at the break. A couple of changes made on either side as well. Charlotte Caslick backing her pace as well to go around the outside of Naimasi, and Australia straight away have that try to start this second half. They talk about the physicality, skills of the Fijian side, but lacking just a little bit of pace. It's not a huge side, the Australian side. They do have gas, though. Charlotte Caslick around the outside, in for the opener after the break.
Yeah, Caslick is a real glider. She almost stays at the same pace, not known for a step-in, but she's a good swerve runner. Played a lot of touch rugby in her upbringing. So plays flat to the line, likes to take people on. And she does have pace, not out-and-out pace, like we see with Woodman and Blythe, but she's pretty quick. And she gets an open field, she eats up the ground with that loping stride.
Yeah, and quick enough targeted. Anna Namasi, I think, realised that she was up against a slightly more sluggish defender. And Australia stretched their lead. The conversion not successful. Again, the restart none too pretty, and gives Fiji plenty of time for their captain Rogitha to gather it in. Oh dear. Works out well enough though as Riwai gathered it in, and here comes Riwai now. Just lobbing it out and looking for the return now from Naimasi, and Naimasi. That's a speculative pass. Works okay for Riwai though. Advantage to Fiji. Little knock on by Australia. Just a scrum advantage.
Advantage over.
Which is over now. Oh, and freeing herself. A chance for Naimasi. And Naimasi is going all the way to the corner again. She could get closer to the post, but a little bit weary. She reaches the line as it was in the first half, so Fiji coming back into it.
Well, big smiles masking sheer exhaustion from Naimasi. It's her show. What a fend in the face.
Ouch.
Castlick gets brushed off. Saw it in the first half, see it again. Don't know why she runs for the corner, because she could get underneath the sticks. Putting in big shots, putting in some big shifts. Naimasi probably has now wasted the 30 seconds they get to take the conversion, but what an effort from her.
But she does like the corners, wasn't going to get close to the post. They didn't quite have the pace to do it, but could have crept a little bit closer. And again, it may be important because, as you see, very difficult to convert there. And so just a 5-point try. Still breathing hard. There's Elia Green on, and we're talking about pace. Well, watch the pace of Green.
Yep, no worries. Yep.
A little bit of Fijian heritage as well, Elia Green, father Fijian, which means two things: you're going to be good at sevens and you love sevens.
And she'll love playing against the country of her father as well. So 4 minutes to go. Again, Fiji just go for length, unable to fashion that high hanging restart. Out it comes to Green. A flash of those red boots and a drop of the shoulder into Naimasi. Tonegato gets it moving again, and Kaslik still with a imprint of a hand on her face from Naimasi. So Australia inside their own 22, but with the pace to find a way out. Emma Sykes just skipping around a bit. And on the field is Emily Cherry. But a couple of mistakes from Australia. And they're still going to go through. This match is just a sort of standalone affair, because Australia have beaten England, and Fiji won't go through as runners-up because they lost to England. But Australia want to tidy things up because they know their ultimate test is going to be against New Zealand, and you won't be able to afford these mistakes against New Zealand. No, and Tim Walsh's words at half-time, very much about building the phases. Get 3 phases against Fiji, that's when the ball stopped, it's on the floor, you restart, they become unstructured, and then the class that this Australian team have will take a massive impact. So Fiji, can they take the lead? A little kick off the outside of the boot, and how does the ball bounce? Not quite. Well, it does now for Fiji, but then it's given away. Riwai fed it only to Australian hands, and risky play by Australia though, and that might be a card. Deliberate knock on, and the card is being reached for as it hidden in the sock of the referee.
I understand. She's going to the bin, okay?
She's going to the bin.
6.
Yeah, there's a lovely phrase of terminology the referee in sevens rugby. It's risk or reward. If you put any hand on the ball whatsoever and do not catch it in mid-flight, you get 2 minutes in the sin bin. Trying to get rid of these speculative, flailing arms. Clearly, it's going to be very difficult to catch the ball there.
That's Siata who goes off. And again, if you go in with 2 hands as if you're trying to catch the ball, then that will be looked upon more favourably. But one hand like that, that's only going to end in a yellow card. 2 minutes in the bin, as it is in sevens. And here is Elia Green. And can she show that pace now? Has to try and find her way around Naimasi first of all. And doesn't manage to do it. And into touch. Fiji know about the danger of Green.
Well, what cover defence, grabbing the shirt, not just that, teammates coming in abundance, Tiasolo helping out, Naimasi, big defensive shift. This Fijian team, transformational. This is their best performance by a long, long way.
Well, this was the tougher of the pools in terms of qualification, as we see Siata in the bin for a couple of minutes and looking rather despairing.
You stand them up for me.
Because you had
Fiji, please.
two good teams for the runners-up place here in Fiji and England. It was always going to be tough to go through. Australia, certainly the strong favourites to go through as pool winners, which they will do. So Fiji looking for some pride here in trying to beat the favourites, and that would be a statement in itself. Elliot Green now tried on one wing, now trying on the other, but it's the same person shutting her down. Naimasi, high tackle coming in though, so advantage to Australia. Advantages don't last long in sevens though, and that had to be worked away quickly. Kaslik back to her feet and going through the middle, and Charlotte Kaslik now one to beat, and Kaslik eases her way around Naimasi, and Charlotte Kaslik in for what may be the winning try in this game. 7 players against 6, and taking advantage, Kaslik found the space, and a costly sin binning.
It is indeed, and if it would be anyone in this Australian team, it's their sharp end of their arrow. Kaslik gets up off the floor and just gets on it. Off she goes, all these flailing arms. The big thing about Fijian tackles, they try and grab shorts, they don't look for leg tackles. And if you're doing that against someone running at pace around, you're going to be very difficult. Kaslik living up to the pressure she must have felt into this, and clear remorse on the sideline. Fijians having to do it with 6. Siata taking her time on the bin.
Well, this is as close as Australia have been pushed for a long, long time. They went through the Sydney Sevens, we remind you, not just winning that, not just winning all their games, but not conceding a single point.
10 seconds.
Time enough still for the restart, so Australia will look to put a gloss on this that there wouldn't really be merited, and Fiji perhaps wouldn't deserve to lose by a bigger margin. Out it goes, and play will end. So it is victory for Australia, but their toughest test of this Sevens tournament so far. A shame, I suppose, that Fiji cannot go through. It'll be Australia and England who finish first and second in Pool B. And Australia, well, are they still the favourites? I don't know. New Zealand will be watching that and thinking they have a great chance of the gold medal. But